Hello everyone and welcome back guys to the finale of Season 4 of our F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, where today we're here for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Yes, I cannot believe actually that we've done 4 entire seasons of this career mode. It's the most I've ever done on any F1 game, and it's not even 2021 just yet. But one more race to go here from Season 4 of this career. But obviously, if you missed out on the last video from the Brazilian Grand Prix that went live yesterday, I would definitely recommend going back and checking that video out as well. Obviously, there'll be a link in the top right-hand side of your screens to that video. But yeah, heading though to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, there will be spoilers in 3, 2, 1 now. 2 points separate myself and Lewis Hamilton in the Drivers' World Championship. For the last couple of races, it has just been a 2-horse race between myself and Lewis, but it's pretty much whoever comes out on top is world champion this weekend. In terms of results, Hamilton's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins to my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 over the course of the season. So Hamilton's, yeah, definitely got it on more wins. I think we've got it on more second places, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to Hamilton's 1 second place over the entirety of the season there. So at least we've got that on our side as well, though. But obviously, yeah, if we do tie, Hamilton's won it on wins counting back there. You know, Mercedes have looked rather quick over the last couple of weekends. George Russell and Albon have got a big title battle going on into this decider as well. So there's plenty of battles to be watching out for this weekend in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But as well, just quickly before we jump into this, after this race, we are going to take a week off until New Year before we jump into Season 5. I just want to get a little bit of planning and preparation done for that series, and also we're going to do a little bit more of the McLaren RTG as well. But thank you guys as well for all the insane support on F1 2020. You know, so far I still feel like the channel's in a bit of a rebuilding stage at the moment. You know, we're still slowly but surely building our way back up. But to all of those of you that have liked, enjoyed, subscribed, commented, anything like that, it really does mean the world to me. And yeah, I cannot thank you guys enough. So for one final time in Season 4, let's do this thing. Here we are then, for the final time in Season 4 of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode, then back, as always, here in Abu Dhabi. Yas Marina, not a best track for deciding World Championships, but hopefully this weekend this place can finally deliver us a good race as we make a bit of a hash of the first corner here. As always, straight into Q1 on the medium into Q2 even, I should say, on the medium compounded tyres. The car feels fairly quick around here, but once again, Mercedes... Oh, that's not a good run. Mercedes, yeah, seem to have very good qualifying pace as we get a little bit squirrely out onto the back straight. It would really do us a world of good to make it through on the mediums into Q3, but we'll wait and see. So there we go then, the end of Q2 in a very weird qualifying session. In the end there, you can see we were only 8 thousandths off our teammate Lewis Hamilton there, or I don't think got a good lap hooked up in Q2 there. But George Russell, over half a second clear at the front of the field there. Danny Kvyat in 4th place, ahead of Bottas and Pierre Gasly there. So clearly now AlphaTauri have one of the best cars in Formula 1. Lance Stroll and Perez, 7th and 8th, finally looking like Racing Point to make it a bit of a resurgence. A bit too late, albeit, but a resurgence nonetheless there. With Verstappen and Albon rounding out the top 10 there. Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, both McLarens and both Renaults not making it through into Q3 there. But yeah, very weird qualifying session. Let's see then, is Hamilton struggling that much, or did no one really seem to be able to get a good lap in Q2? Let's dive into Q3. Getting ready to start our first run then in Q3. Hopefully, yeah, we've got a really good chance of getting the car on pole position here. I can't genuinely remember the last time we got into Q3 on a set of medium compounded tyres here, so hopefully that's going to help us out in the race as well there. But heading down in towards the first corner, a bit of a tidier run than last time around. You really just sort of feel like you've got to lean on the car a lot around this circuit, especially through Sector 1. You get through that really fun roller coaster, and then pretty much here, the track seems to just fall apart in its funness in the world of Formula 1. Down through the hairpin, try and keep the nose tidy. Get a bit of a better run than last time. Yeah, we should be looking at about a mid 130. Maybe a low 130 if we get the lap absolutely hooked up. in towards the final couple of corners. Oh, that's a lot of curb through the penultimate turn. We don't get a particularly good run out of the final corner either, but it is going to be a 130.5. So very, very happy with that as our benchmark in this session there. Clear of George Russell and Lewis Hamilton by quite a big margin at the end there. Is Pierre Gasly even going for another lap? I think he might be. Getting ready then for our final qualifying lap of the season. Hopefully, I mean, Bottas has gone quicker than us. Kvyat is over to P3 at the moment, so I think the times are still dropping as everyone's struggling with tyre temps at the moment, just trying to get him into the right window. But yeah, we need about another 2/10 if we want to get the car onto provisional pole position here, so we'll wait and see if we can try and get a lap hooked up through turn 1. That was a nice tidy run. This time round, heading through turn 3, just having to do a little bit of a lift on the way in through there, otherwise you could just get way too much oversteer on the exit of the corner there, and that is not a place, as I learnt in the Mclaren career mode, that you want to get any oversteer through there. Obviously, if you don't watch that series, I managed to flip it heading out of that corner in the Mclaren RTG, so yeah, definitely would not recommend doing that around this circuit, but at the moment we're pretty much even with our best lap so far in the session. We actually didn't get a particularly good run out onto the back straight. Let's see if we can get a better run than we did last time around through the second part of the back straight there as we just go over the bump. There we go, a couple of tenths found on the exit there, as last time around we got a load of wheel spin down in towards the final sector of the lap though. This is where the AI tend to be very, very strong as we go purple. Just try and dance the car over the curbs, keep it between the white lines. A lot of oversteer there, but we hold on to it. Once again, don't really want that, and that's cost us another couple of tenths or so. So things not looking perfect at the moment as we head in towards the final few corners. We're really going to need a mega run. Actually, oh yeah, just the rears are overheating so badly at the moment. That is, yeah, that's going to be this run completely over and done with then at the end of qualifying there. And yeah, not too sure what we feel about that one, but everyone's struggling with rear tyre temps towards the end of the session there. And unfortunately, it's only going to be P2 on the grid here in Abu Dhabi, but it's a long way ahead of Hamilton.
Welcome to the Yas Marina circuit for the finale of another thrilling Formula One season. It's been a breathtaking year, and we end it at a track that's been the scene of many glories and heartbreaks over its history. It's time to end the season in style. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at the Yas Marina circuit through 21 corners and a lap distance of just over 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass, with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and turn 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed, and I hope plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. And so, for one final time this season, Anthony Davidson joins me in the commentary box.
Well, the winter break is looming once again. No doubt many of those teams already have their eyes firmly on next season. But there's still work to be done here. Still championship positions to decide, which can make a big difference to the prize money. So no one's going to be taking their foot off the throttle just yet.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Good job yesterday from Valtteri Bottas. The Finn starts from pole position, and Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Russell, Hamilton, Pierre Gasly, and Verstappen, Stroll, Perez, Albon, and Charles Leclerc, Ricciardo, Norris, Daniel Kvyat. They've taken a grid penalty, and Sainz, Ocon, Raikkonen, Nicholas Latifi, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Magnussen, King, Matsushita, and Nick De Vries. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
We're still in with a shot at the driver's title. It's down to this. Now go out there and come back a champion.
The team are absolutely right. Today is the day. Either Hamilton becomes an 8-time Formula One World Champion, or we make it 3 in a row. We were the man to stop his terror and domination in Formula One, and hopefully today we will continue to be that man. But on the other hand, I'm sure a lot of people want to see Hamilton stop my reign of recent seasons as well. Here we are then on the grid, one final time for Season 4 of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode here in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. A long 28 laps ahead of us. Going to be a very, very interesting race. Qualifying was incredibly weird with the way things worked out in the end. And yeah, once again, we're going to go quite aggressive on the fuel. In terms of strategy, I'm tempted to try and do medium and then double softs to the end of the Grand Prix, so we'll wait and see as to how that goes. But yeah, really, really looking forward to this one. Hopefully, as long as we beat Hamilton, we will be world champion. That is as simple as it is. Hamilton starts behind us in 5th. We start on the front row alongside Valtteri Bottas. Let's do this thing. The 5 red lights for the final time this season. The final time in Season 4. 5 red lights. And it's lights out. And away we go as Bottas doesn't get a good start there. He's going to cut across us. There is Hamilton down the outside. Gets a good run in towards the first corner. Actually pushes me into the back of George Russell there and Valtteri Bottas. There's Hamilton, tries to stick the nose at the inside. Doesn't make it work that time round, as I thought we were going to get squeezed down the middle between him and George Russell there. But it's been a good start for George, but a controversial one between myself and Lewis there. A lot of contact in towards the first corner. Luckily, I don't think either of us have had any damage from it. I think all the top 4 have been able to get away from that one fairly cleanly in the end, so rather happy with that one there. But Bottas and Russell already in prime position to try and lead this race from the front there, and that makes it even more difficult for Hamilton just behind us. If he wants to win the World Championship, you know, for him, obviously, for either of us, a win would completely solidify it, but after that, you know, sort of 3rd and 4th place, it could still be 1 point in it. It really just depends on who is in front of who as to where we want to be battling for supremacy here. But yeah, it's going to be a weird old race, I think, this one. But coming through in towards Sector 3 in lap 1, Bottas leads the way ahead of Russell, myself and Hamilton, and yeah, luckily, we haven't spanned, we haven't had anything like that. I honestly thought after Hamilton tagged us, we were going to go into Bottas and half spin, but we got away with it. Now, of course, the difficult thing is trying to match all these soft runners on our mediums. It's going to be very, very difficult over these first few laps, but they should hopefully stay in a better condition as well. They should stay in a better temperature window as well here, so we'll wait and see as to how things go. This race honestly feels like such a big unknown. I don't think we've ever had anything like it in my team. Hamilton really trying to apply the pressure to us early on in this Grand Prix. There is Russell and Bottas just starting to pull away a few tenths lap after lap here. As you can see now, Hamilton making big, big gains down the DRS straight. He's going to have a look to the outside. Obviously, we don't want any controversial measures affecting this World Championship. I do want a clean battle to the end of this season, but we'll see what Hamilton wants to do in these situations. But yeah, clearly Hamilton looking feisty and clearly wanted to try and get around us early on. Hamilton coming at us once again. Again, just gets very, very close into the braking zone, but this time round can't even try and go for a dive or anything like that. I don't know if he's been told as well. You know that we got to keep it clean. We want to get both cars to the checkered flag. We don't want any controversial, any controversial moments affecting the swing here. But oh, Hamilton! Almost, he does go into the back of us there. Not too sure whether he just missed his braking point. I felt we were a little bit early on the brakes, but nothing too dramatic, and that might be a big, big moment in this race there, as Hamilton probably going to have to pit for a new front wing from that. There we go, Hamilton does dive into the pits at the end of lap 4 there, and yeah, I didn't feel like I broke ridiculously early. I didn't feel like that was a brake check by any stretch of the imagination there, but Hamilton clearly misjudging it, and we now have got a little bit of safety, but still these mediums not gripping up through the first sector. This could still very, very easily swing the other way, as you can see on the mini-map. Hamilton about to head back out of the pit lane, but he is going to be a long way off at the rear of the field. Now towards the end of lap 5 as well, I think Russell and Bottas' soft compound tyres starting just to go off a little bit as we set a new PB for the Grand Prix. Yeah, hopefully, before they pit, we can close back in. There we go, George Russell has got a big, big run now on Valtteri Bottas. They are going to go side by side as we head down in towards Sector 3 there, and Russell slots in ahead of his teammate here, so we're going to be all over the back of the fin. It really has been a tough testing season for Russell at Mercedes, but I'm sure he'd love to finish the season with a win. 7, already a quarter of the way into this Grand Prix, and we are all over the back of Valtteri Bottas as Hamilton goes over a second quicker than we did on that last lap there. Bottas still going a bit slowly out into the back straight, as George Russell's already been able to build up that 1 second margin. And yeah, Bottas very much a sitting duck as we head down in towards the chicane in the middle of the straightaway here. It's going to be interesting to see what Mercedes do. Obviously, they've solidified P2. Obviously, George Russell does need to finish well to beat Alex Albon in the Drivers' World Championship, but they haven't really got much else that they need to fight for this season. So do they risk it and try to just get one last win under their belts, or do they just play it safe? Oh, there we go. End of lap 7. George Russell, Valtteri Bottas even into the pit lane here, so he becomes the first of the front runners into the pits. We're going to try and go to about lap 11, lap 12 in this Grand Prix, and then we'll wait and see as to how the tyres are faring. Here we go, lap 8. We've got a decent run on George Russell as we head out onto the back straightaway here. I don't think we really need to make too many big risks early on, as old George a bit earlier on the brakes into the chicane than I was expecting him to be there. We almost ran into the back of him. He does take a little bit of evasive action there to avoid us creaming into the back of our former teammate. But heading out onto the second of the straightaways, hopefully now we can try and have a look to the outside in towards the chicane. Big late dive on the brakes. We do get the inside for the second part though, and that's not going to help us. Completely dropping the car over the curves. We've been struggling with the rears all weekend so far, and now that could really come back and bite us in this Grand Prix. We've lost a good 5-6 seconds to George Russell there in that moment. It's going to put a lot of wear through the rears, and now suddenly Max Verstappen has rammed into the back of us. So things are all going pear-shaped towards the midway stage of this race there. Verstappen again tried to send it as what is happening to this car at the moment. The tyres are completely gone, it feels like. We need to try and get back in the right temperature window. Verstappen's into the pits, Russell's into the pits in front of us. Everyone's into the pit lane, it appears, as Daniel Ricciardo is going to stay out here. But what is happening at this stage of the race? I think what we need at this stage of the day is just a few laps, nice and calm, no cars in front of us, just get a few laps under our belt here, as we've got quite a few drivers sat behind that are all on the medium compounded tyres as well there. But yeah, things still a long way from home at the moment. As you can see, Hamilton, he is sat behind, I'm going to guess it's George Russell in the Mercedes. But yeah, he's still battling with the guys around where we were. On to lap 11, Hamilton now has just popped back up onto our radar, 17.1 seconds back. So he's behind Bottas actually in this Grand Prix. I'm surprised Russell is so far clear towards the front of that group, but I think at the moment, if we were to pit now, we would actually come out behind our teammate Lewis Hamilton at this stage of the race. That one slip-up has really cost us at the moment, but still a long old way to go. Coming to the end of lap 12, we're going to dive into the pits. At the end of this one, make sure we don't make any mistakes into the pit lane. Oh god. Still almost making mistakes there as we almost speed into the pits as well. But yeah, I think we might come out, I'm hoping we come out just between Gasly and the Red Bull sat behind him there, as George Russell is going to re-inherit the lead of this Grand Prix. It's been an interesting first half here in Abu Dhabi. 2.6 second stop isn't ideal either, as we're going to head back out onto the race circuit. Make sure we get a nice clean run through the pit exit. There goes Gasly and Hamilton. So it is going to be close between ourselves and Alex Albon as we head back out of the pit lane here, but we are going to stay out ahead in P5 of the Grand Prix, just about though ahead of the Red Bull man as we head down in towards Sector 2. But yeah, now we've got Gasly and Hamilton just in front of us. Surprised we're only about 2.5 seconds back, and we should be a whole lot quicker over these next couple. There is no denying in the last couple of races, Gasly has been an absolute beast in this career mode. AlphaTauri looked to have built a really strong package as well there, but Gasly seems to constantly be battling it out with the front cars in this field here. But hopefully, once again, just like we did last time out in Brazil, we can try and get around the AlphaTauri. We'll go, oh god, Gasly parks it on the apex there. We might be able to go all the way around the outside as we head out onto the back straightaway there, and there we go. We've pulled off that move, not quite what I was expecting to do. We might actually be able to get a run on Hamilton as we head up in towards the chicane here. And look at that, to the outside of our teammate Lewis Hamilton in this Grand Prix. Can we form a double overtake round the outside again? And out of nowhere, we're straight back up into the podium places of this Grand Prix and ahead of our main championship rival. Is Hamilton going to get a run back at us, though, as we head out in towards the final sector of the lap? He has a look to the outside. We've got a bit fresher rubber, though, and we do hold on to P3 here in Abu Dhabi. As soon as we say that, Hamilton back into the pits for his second stop of the day as we set a new fastest lap of the Grand Prix there. Things looking good. Lap 16, our next target has been acquired in this Grand Prix, and it is, of course, the Finnish driver of Bottas, who gets a little bit squirrely out onto the back straightaway. We should have pretty good traction on much fresher, quicker rubber here, and yeah, look at that, Bottas Mercedes really just don't quite have the top end speed against us at the moment, and we're now back up into P2 of this race. George Russell still a few seconds up the road at the moment, and I think if we want this strategy to work, we do need to be close to him before he pits in for the final time. Oh, there we go. As soon as I say that, George Russell is into the pits. With just 12 to go here in Abu Dhabi as we set another fastest lap. They're dipping down now into the 33s in race stream here. The track is getting a whole lot quicker as the air temperature and the track temperature start dropping. You can just feel the grip in quite a few places, a whole lot better than it once was. But yeah, still Bottas and Gasly just behind us as we're going to pit in about the end of lap 20. This really has been a very, very weird race with just how many different people have been running up towards the front of the field here. I feel like pretty much everyone from every team, excluding the bottom three, has had cars right up the order at some point during this Grand Prix. Kvyat still up into P2 again. As soon as I say that, he of course pits in. So Ricciardo now back up into P2. What happened to Red Bull this year, man? They looked so good at the start, and I thought this is going to be brilliant. We're going to have a three-way title scrap finally. Red Bull are starting to deliver there as Ferrari seem to have gone backwards, but no. Red Bull do the opposite of what they do in real life in my team and just seem to completely fall apart by the halfway stage of the season and turn into a midfield car. I think at the moment George Russell and Bottas are starting to get held up behind a few of the other midfield cars. Yeah, Lando and Ricciardo slowing up Russell a bit. I've just completely forgot to pit at the end of that lap, so I guess we're going to have to go one lap longer on this set of the soft compound tyres here. I certainly don't want to take these too many more than originally planned. But yeah, we're pretty much back on level fuel mix as well. But yeah, I think George just losing a little bit of time behind these guys as Ricciardo dives in. Norris is now just the only man ahead of his former F2 rival. I've just completely forgot to pit again. What's happening towards the end of this race? Remember, pit at the end of this lap. These tyres certainly cannot go to the checkered flag here in Abu Dhabi. There's no way we're going to be able to drag a set of soft 16 laps. But yeah, I just keep forgetting to pit. Right, remember actually to pit at the end of this lap, Matt. End of lap 22. We are finally going to make our second stop in this Grand Prix. We've taken these softs a bit longer than I had intended, as that's not going to help us. Right, make sure we change the front wing. Wiping out, we change it. It better change. Please say the front wing's changing. Please don't say we're going to bottle this right at the very end of the final race of the season. Have the team got a front wing ready? I think they have? Yes, yes they do. Thank God for that. I thought we just thrown this completely away right at the very end there. George Russell's going to re-inherit the lead of the Grand Prix. A 6.3 second stop with a wing change isn't too bad going. And we might be back out. It's going to be close between ourselves and Valtteri Bottas there. No, Bottas does come out just ahead of us. It might actually be close between Hamilton and ourselves here as we head back out of the pit lane. No, we do stay out in P3 ahead of our main championship rival here. So that is very, very good for us at the moment here, as desperation must be setting in for Lewis Hamilton. He's led so many rounds of this season. The title battle has really just swung either way. If you guys remember all the way back to Season 1 when Hamilton won that championship, he only ever led after the final race of the season here. But much fresher, much quicker, soft compounded tyres. As long as we don't do anything stupid, things are looking good. Can we still sneak away the race victory though? George Russell 5 seconds up the road. Lap 24 all over the back of Valtteri Bottas as the gap to George Russell definitely coming down rather rapidly at this stage of the day. I don't know if Bottas has got much fresher rubber than his teammate, but we are going to go to the outside of the fin once again. I feel like we spent half this race trying to get around Bottas, but we do once again make the move work. Once again, Bottas almost goes into the back of us. But yeah, 4.5 laps to go. They got 3 seconds to George Russell up the road. This thing isn't over. 33-0 as we head in towards the dying stages of this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Only, what's that? Less than a second and a half of what our teammate ran in qualifying, with still quite a few laps worth of fuel left in the car at the moment. We go purple again through Sector 1. We're still finding time at the moment, and this car has been an absolute beauty to drive all season long. It's been a bit looser than Season 3's car. I'll be honest, this thing hasn't quite had the same aero and chassis as that thing that was just completely world conquering, but this thing has still been very, very fun to drive over the entirety of this World Championship. And yeah, the gap to Russell even down to 1.5 seconds now. Surely we're going to still win this race. Yellow flags out. I think that's Bottas going slowly behind us with just a few laps to go of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. A heartbreaking way for the Finn to end this World Championship campaign there. And yeah, Valtteri Bottas out of the Grand Prix. And we've got a safety car with just 3 laps to go here in Abu Dhabi. Could this spice things up? Could it just make it all a bit more dramatic now, as Hamilton's going to be put right back behind us, and if he gets past us, he would still be world champion. Abu Dhabi has once again taken another dramatic twist with just a few laps to go. Hamilton's into the pits with 2 laps to go. What is Hamilton doing in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here? Hamilton dives back in for another pit stop in this Grand Prix, and surely he's just accepted that his championship battle is officially over there, as he's going to come back out, what, not even inside the top 10, if I'm not mistaken there. What has the team decided to do? Has Hamilton picked up damage somewhere, or what? But Hamilton, yeah, is going to drop back way down the field, and I think that pretty much seals the deal, unless we absolutely bin it and Hamilton has a worldie of a restart here. I think we can fairly comfortably say we are about to be a 3-time world champion. End of lap 27 though. George Russell has just got to lead the way for another 3.5 miles here around this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix circuit, and he will finish the season with a race victory. But Hamilton now sat in the midfield. Again, I've got no idea what he or the team is thinking in that situation, but I'm guessing he's completely given up on thinking he's going to win the World Championship this time around. Better luck next season, I think, unless, of course, we bin it now and Hamilton somehow sneaks past a whole heap of cars. But 1 to go here from Abu Dhabi, and can we still snag this race victory away from George Russell? We've had much better tyres over the last few laps. Pierre Gasly could be on for a fantastic podium finish as well in this Grand Prix if he keeps everything nice and tidy. But George Russell, off the restart, looking tremendously quick as we try and get the tyres up into an operator window there. Gasly's going to try and look up the inside through turn 2. Pierre Gasly certainly wants to try and make anything work off the restart here. Look at that. From the AlphaTauri driver there to the outside in towards Sector 2. We can't afford to have any sort of contact with him. If he goes for it, we might just have to let him by off the restart here as we try to get the power down out onto the back straightaway. Gasly, fair play. I mean, his first podium in quite a while in this career mode, but he was still willing to put it all on the line off the restart here, down in towards the chicane for the final time in this Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And is Gasly going to potentially be able to get a run on us out in towards the final few corners of this race? You can see the back half of the field still very, very mixed up. It's been a weird and wonderful season, and it looks like it's going to end that way as well here with, what, 5 different cars from 5 different teams inside the top 5 here. But George Russell, after leaving ourselves at the end of last year, heading over to Mercedes. Hamilton coming the other way. It's been Hamilton that has really dragged this title fight out. He desperately wants to make it 8 Formula 1 World Championships, but it's not going to be his year once more for the 3rd time in a row in Formula 1. Our owner-driver team, the team that started out 4 seasons ago right at the very back, as we head in towards the final corners, we join a very, very exclusive club in the world of Formula 1. Through the final turn, we are a 3-time Formula 1 World Champion.
Fantastic drive, and it means your driver's world champion. What a result. Enjoy it.
And so the celebrations begin, and well earned they are indeed. It may have looked simple at times, but as any racing driver will tell you, competing at this level, at the very top, is anything but simple. There's no catching them now then. We have a new World Drivers' Champion. Victory today then, but bittersweet emotions, I'm sure, as the championship slips through their fingers. Even so, what a fantastic final race of the season this was. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ants. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Interesting choice today, I think. There's a few to pick from, but I think I have to give it to Danny Kvyat. He put in a rock-solid performance today, one that he can be proud of.
Meanwhile, AlphaTauri's strong weekend allows them to continue their march up the table. Well, Ants, an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Well, there we are then, guys. Season 4 of the F1 My Team Career Mode is finished. We've done it. We are world champions 3 times running in the world of Formula 1, but this one arguably has been one of the weirdest. There's been so many ups and downs, so many surprises over the course of the season there, and really sort of ourselves and Mercedes have been the only 2 consistent forms towards the front of the field there. But it's got some memories as well, there's no denying that. Williams scoring their first points in 4 years as well there. The likes of AlphaTauri, Pierre Gasly picking up a podium this weekend, as well as, you know, the resurgence of Red Bull and the subsequent downfall once again. Ferrari struggling in the midfield with a complete all-star lineup. There has been a lot of stories up and down the order in this season, but it is George Russell who wins the final race of the season after plenty of wins last year. It hasn't been the same sort of season for him. You know, he hasn't stood on that top step anywhere near as often there, but it's nice, I'm sure, for him to finish the season with a bang there. We come through in P2 ahead of Pierre Gasly as well. They're a fantastic job by the AlphaTauri driver to get his car onto the podium. Stroll a brilliant day out up in P4 ahead of Albon, and Danny Kvyat there in 6th place as well. So a really, really good weekend for AlphaTauri there, looking like real threats as we head in towards Season 5 there. Perez in 7th ahead of Max Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo and Lando Norris there rounding out the top 10, with Ocon just missing out ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. I have no idea what the team were thinking with that 3-stop strategy there down in P12. Sainz, Charles Leclerc, and then you got Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Nick de Vries, Latifi, Magnussen, Jordan King, and Matsushita there, with Valtteri Bottas the only man not to make it to the checkered flag there. A gutting way for the Finn to round out what has actually once again been quite an impressive season in Formula 1 as well there. But in terms then of the Drivers' World Championship, the final results don't quite do it justice. You know, our 2 big rivals not scoring points at the end there means that we take the World Championship by 20 points over Lewis Hamilton there. Bottas in P3, 92 back ahead of George Russell there, who obviously with that win able to massively extend his lead over Alex Albon at the final race of the season there. Danny Rick in a very, very lonely 6th place there. It's been very much a quiet season by him, and yeah, comfortably beaten by his younger Thai teammate there. Pierre Gasly, though, a fantastic job in at P7. There really has been the class of the midfield there. 19 points clear of Carlos Sainz there. Just 2 ahead of Max Verstappen there, who, yeah, did comfortably beat Charles Leclerc in the end. And to be honest, I don't think that 12 points really does it justice for just how much better Max Verstappen has been over Charles Leclerc throughout a lot of the season there. Lando Norris in 11th ahead of Sergio Perez there, with Danny Kvyat in 13th place there. Stroll gets a big haul of points this weekend to move himself past Esteban Ocon there, and a big drop back down to Kevin Magnussen there in 16th place there. A disappointing season from Raikkonen. Surely now it's time for him to retire from Formula 1 there. He finishes just ahead of Giovinazzi there and Nick de Vries. 19 cars scoring points, only Alfa Romeos and Nick Latifi not able to score points come the end of the season there, with Jordan King and Matsushita. Yeah, another disappointing year for those guys there. But constructors-wise, though, 207 clear at the end of the season. AlphaTauri almost took away P4 from Ferrari at the end of the season there. Just 2 extra points could have sealed the deal for them as well. So Ferrari, yeah, very, very lucky to hold on ahead of both AlphaTauri and McLaren there. McLaren, though, do drop back down to P6 behind, obviously, ourselves, Mercedes, and Red Bull there. And you got a big drop back, a big gap back down to Racing Point there. Yeah, a very, very quiet season as well, rather unfortunately there. Renault as well must be gutted to finish so far back in P8 there. They really were just scoring, you know, sort of a few points here and there throughout the entirety of the season there. Haas, once again, though, just ahead of Williams and Alfa Romeo. They seem to get that one brilliant result that really just means that they're safe for another season. They're down in at P9 there as well. But 207 clear at the top of the standings is exactly what we like to see. But just like all the other seasons from this series, of course, there will be a season recap video going live later on today. But yeah, we will be back very, very soon. Like I said, we're going to take a little bit of time off. We'll probably be back in the new year, ready for Season 5 of the My Team Career Mode. It might be the very last we do on F1 2020, you know, as 212 Motorsport, but I'm sure we've got plenty planned in the future as well. There will be changes. We will not be teammates with Lewis Hamilton for next season, but more will be discussed in the future. But as always, thank you all so much for watching. And yeah, we'll be back very, very soon in 2021 for Season 5. I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well. And we will be back very, very soon. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.